Greetings everyone, namaste and welcome. Hey Gemini, this is your yearly forecast for 2019 from February, one card per month leading you into January of 2020. So we're using this Morgan Greer deck. I'm going to start shuffling with your intent for Gemini and see what cards we are going to be working with, and then we will systematically go through and see what messages are being delivered as well. So Gemini, yearly forecast. I had been shuffling a little bit prior to this to get your energy into the deck, but let's see what is in store. One more, I think. We're not quite done. Alright, your first card to start the year off for 2019 is the Nine of Swords for February. For March we have beautiful, the Ace of Cups. For April we have the Five of Swords, and for May we have the Four of Swords. For June we have the Hermit. That's your first major arcana. For July we have the Eight of Swords. For August we have the Nine of Cups. For September we have the Five of Cups. Two fives there diagonally connected. Two nines. So we've got some repeating numbers out. October we have the Page of Rods. November we have the World. That's another major arcana. December we have the Judgment, another one. And January, for the new year, for 2020, we have the Seven of Wands. So guys, one ace, which is, I think, the nicest of all the aces. One, two, three major arcanas. So not as many major arcanas. You have quite a few cups running through here, and a couple of swords, and some wands. No pentacles for you guys. If we're just looking at that as a brief overall message, it could be that career and emotions might be on your mind, but the finances might be secondary or not playing as big a role for a lot of you. So it might be more of a personal year and sort of an emotional year that's going down. A lot of astrologers are saying that 2019 is the end of a 9-year cycle. So we're moving into, in theory, the beginning of the evolution, if you like, of the next 9 years. So kind of what we do for this year sets the tone or the foundation for the 9 years coming. So I think it's a worthy year to spend a bit of energy on how we want to progress those years through, what we want to let go of, what we need to sort through at our emotional level and our spiritual levels as well, and our physical, I might add. So there's been 2 eclipses in January, there's some more in July, and I think there's a very last one in December. The eclipses may play a role in decision making and events as well. Let's start with the most logical place, which is the one up on the left with the Nine of Swords, and that is February. As we're moving into 2019, we're about to come into the energies of this. Well, yeah, you know, it's not the best card to start with, but the Nine of Swords just talks to us a little bit about inner tension, feeling a bit overwrought, overrun, possibly needing to rest. It can also indicate things like insomnia, like not being able to sleep. And sometimes this is because you've got so much on your mind, or you're being woken with dreams, and sometimes these dreams can have messages for you. So it can be a really good time to do a dream journal, to learn some good sleep procedures. Do you know, taking magnesium at night can help for sleep, and there's a lot of other herbal products on the market that you can buy from pharmacies or naturopaths that are also really good to help bring about calm sleep. if any of you are feeling anxious or are suffering periods of anxiety, or, you know, that ties in a little bit with depression as well. Again, there are so many different methods nowadays we can use to treat issues like this. And to be fair, more than half of the population are feeling this way, especially with the fast-paced gearing up of life and all the stuff that is happening around the planet. So sometimes addressing things with meditation, with time out, with nurturing our bodies with the right foods, minerals and vitamins, with spending our time on positive ideas and people and places, these can all be beneficial as well. So I think it just might say for some of you in February there, health-wise, look after yourself, nurture yourself, tell yourself how much you mean to, you know, how happy you are to be here, and even if you're not sometimes, but understand that this life is very important and it's worth living, and that everything we learn from it goes towards our overall knowledge and wisdom, and that nothing stays the same, and that anything that's negative or worrying or upsetting eventually abates and it passes by, and then we move into a more positive cycle. So everything is cyclical, and we can see that by the absolute beauty of this card. In fact, when I'm doing your reading and when I looked at the cards coming out, I got this real feeling of this kind of roller coaster energy, because for every slightly downish card or quiet card or card with a message of slowing down, you then get this brighter one next to it. You then get like, this is big feisty energy, and then this is quiet, this is quiet, this is feisty, this is happy, this is sadder. And so you've got this whole dynamic of up, down, in, out. So I think for you Geminis, you might almost have a sort of like a duplex thing going on, or a duality in the year, and you might find yourself from time to time going, whoa, well, how did I go from this to that so quickly, or why are things jumping so much? And this could be a message for you about really looking into what it is you want and how you want to take action in the year, and who you want around you as you move forward into this 9-year cycle. And for most of us, to be fair, you won't be the same person at the end of the cycle that long as you are when you're going into it. So changes are inevitable, but we can kind of help to guide the particular changes we want to have happen by the actions we take. But coming back to this ace, it's beautiful, it's perfect. It's about love, support, harmony, joy, happiness, awareness, conception, new romance, new love, fertility, possibly conception of a baby, conception of new ideas, so projects, emotions coming to us of happiness and bliss and euphoria, spiritual awakening, some very special extra help or support from your cosmic helpers and celestial helpers. So connect with your guardian angels and ask them for any help or support that you need around about this time, because they are there as guidance for you. A beautiful card. We come to April and we see the 5 of Swords. Now, oftentimes this means that there can be arguments around, and quite often it comes from us. And Gemini, with the air sign energy, you do like to have the ability to use your words, or your thoughts materialize into words. The card is really a message telling us to be cautious how we choose to say things to people, because in the background there's 2 people walking away, and that's a setting sun. So it's telling us that if we have too many like demands on people, or if we're too rigid in our thinking or our concepts, and we're telling these people what we want or how we want it, or we're not listening to them, it's like rah rah rah, I'm right, they're going to put their swords down and go, yep, see you later, mate, I'm finished, I'm out of here. Now this could relate to co-workers, it could relate to family members, it could relate to friends. If you own a business, it could literally relate to your workers walking out on you. So be careful about how you want to get your message across, especially around this time. Listen to others as well and try to see both sides of the coin, because inevitably we usually always have points to offer. Even if we tend to disagree with the other, there will be something worthwhile within what they're saying. So that's kind of just a warning card there. It does mean often that you are successful in getting across what you want to say, and that's the positive within the card. So try and say it in a positive way, and then you will have much more success with those around you. And instead of them walking off, they will probably go, wow, yeah, I can see what you mean. God, you're amazing. It will probably work like that. If we come to May, we see the Four of Swords. You know, this is another card sort of saying take a break, take a rest. Find some peaceful time. Find somewhere where you can go away and contemplate thoughts, because these swords are coming down to his mind. So sometimes it means an overactive mind, and we saw that at the beginning in February, and we kind of still see it here. So I think Gemini, in the first quarter of this year, you guys, your mind is delivering you a lot of either ultimatums or ideas, or, you know, you're pontificating on something, or you're trying to collaborate something, and it's like, woo, woo, woo. The harmony in it, in that this row in particular, is the Ace of Cups, but even that can be this idea thing coming through. With this Four of Swords, a retreat is called for. So some of you may be going somewhere special with someone, a loved one, or a new romance that's popping up, and it could be for a weekend retreat or a long getaway, and somewhere like a forest or bushlands or a scenic place, and it can be very, very rewarding, and it can be again quite a fertile period. So it can be the conceptualization of something, and sometimes a pregnancy. So literally these two cards offer opportunities for some of you to look at pregnancy cycles if you're thinking of that in the year. Another thing this card can mean is a minor operation, so a surgical procedure for some of you. And it is more likely to be a booked surgical procedure, so not something out of the blue, but something that you have been looking into and you're thinking, yes, I'm going to get this done, or wow, I really need it done. We come to June and we see the Hermit, and he's your first major arcana. He's again about taking time out, addressing the mind in particular, feeling the oneness with the cosmic energy, finding source and finding wisdom in life, and knowing that you find it when you go within. So there's quite a lot of talk here for you guys about contemplation, relaxation, meditation, and seeking answers that are more cosmic or more galactic than just down here. And I think when you do that, you might find these become very good resourceful ways for solving some of the issues that you've had in the background that create things like anxiety and depression and tension. If we come to July, and this can mean again spending time out in a holiday or a retreat, not so much wild partying, but more perhaps climbing the mountains or being in outdoors with nature and feeling that love of life when you're alone and peaceful and feeling at one with something. So coming to July, the Eight of Wands, again we've got this fast pace, boom, it flies in, and it can mean flying. So perhaps some of you have started a journey over here, a literal physical journey, spending some time like this, finding answers to things and then carrying the journey on. It could involve a couple of months for some of you, not just a couple of days or weekends. So some of you could have been partaking in a big trip, and in fact here's the World card as well. Some of you are travelling, and quite extensively. So I keep jumping off July. I don't know why I'm jumping off July, but I'm back here again. So yes, it can mean travel, air travel, across water to a different country or to other parts of a big country. It could be for work, but it's often for pleasure. And it can also mean an abundance of creative ideas coming into you, concepts, collaboration with other people. It can also mean the potentiality of meeting new people. This can be very exciting. It can be a chemistry, so it can be the potential for new exciting romance, and it can be very quick, and they can be foreigners, and these two cards are touching. So there's something in here for some of you that this could be what's happening for you during the year. Either people that you meet while on travels, that you form relationships with, that could be quite fascinating and exciting. Yeah, you could be in for, as I said, I felt relationships were more tied into this than your actual career. I think career could be behind that July card, but I'm getting much more about your feelings and emotions and relationships as we're getting into the reading. Let's hop into August. He's the Nine of Cups. So he's the complete opposite of the Nine of Swords. He has happiness and joy, satisfaction, laughter, completion. He's quite smug because something around him says, wow, yeah, you know, like my wishes have been answered. So I sometimes think when the Nine of Cups is in, you should make a wish. You should endeavour to materialise something that you've been working on. And this creative force in here from July could help it to manifest for August. So this is a good time to, as I said, bring something down to the physical plane and have it manifest. Whether it's the dream of a new job or the dream of a happier relationship or moving or immigrating to a new country or travelling, there's a whole heap of stuff like that in there. We do get to September and then we see these cups up here sort of fallen over, half of them. So what happened? Well, perhaps he didn't fulfill or ground his dream enough. Perhaps it was too grand and he hadn't started it off on the right journey. Perhaps he left something to start this new passion or this new endeavour or entrepreneurship, and then he realises, oh, well, I kind of miss parts of my old life or my old friends or my old relationships. So this card is often about getting stuck in the past and wishing that things were different. Now he's diagonally connected up here, and I talked a lot about not necessarily losing these people in your life due to what you said, because oftentimes you'll regret the loss of it later on and you'll feel the emptiness of these people who walk away from you. And sometimes they walk away forever and the friendship is completely broken and they won't come back. And that's why I mentioned to deal with it in the best way possible. This feeling could be after something like that has happened, that you wish they had come back, that you wish you could see them again. However, it's time to let the past be. Whatever occurs in the past is gone. You must always look to the future. There is no future in the past, and that's something very important to remember. So this card is a reminder to stop focusing on the fallen in our life and turn around and see what we have left. Because you do have things left. There are two beautiful cups there that resemble people who support you, who love you, who cherish you, and who also want your attention back and your time and your energy. So if by any chance through your, own time travel in this year where you have had to spend time thinking around yourself and sorting some thoughts and energies out that you have left others out. It's time to be aware of that and reconnect with them again and say, hey, I'm sorry, I've been a bit busy, I've been connecting with myself, I've been sorting some things out, but I'm back, yay, I'm back. So that's what this one can talk about. The Page of Rods down here for October, you know, he is a messenger of new beginnings, and that's what he does. He opens the door for new possibilities. So around that October period, we're talking about creative options, passions, skills, new skill sets, jobs and careers. So anything that you're doing that relates to any of those ideas, that is the time to open the door and activate it. Be aware of it. Get your CVs ready. Apply for jobs. It's a positive card of new beginnings, new opportunities, and people accepting your ideas, concepts, opportunities. This could also be when you meet someone and you want to take a relationship to a new step. You know, there's lots of different perspectives. And because this is a general reading, it's going to be different for each of you. So you need to dig into each of these cards at your own level and intuitively get them to speak to you and find out what direction they're talking about specifically for you. If we come to November, we have the World. You know, I love the World as well, and it's the end of the major arcanas because it comes at the end of all this unbelievable knowledge and wisdom that you uplift along this journey. It tells you that the cycle is ending, but along this cycle you have learnt much and you have gained much insight, and it is preparing you to take the new step forward into the next cycle. She holds two banners in her hand, if you like, and I often think of them as scrolls, as if they're university degrees. So for some of you, this could be the completion of a long cycle of learning, or a long time in a certain career and you are leaving that career. Or if it's a completion of learning, you may have been studying something and you are now ready to formalize it or bring it out into the public or have it published. You might have been writing a book for 9 years, or you might have been a nurse for 9 years and now you're going to become a writer. So there's a whole cycle of evolutionary change, and it takes with it everything that you've learnt along the way as part of the parcel of success in moving forward. It can also mean travel and world trips, so a big trip. Sometimes it means leaving the country that you live in to settle or immigrate to a new country. And it means meeting new people and new friends and sometimes a new soulmate or a new love mate. So again, masses of different meanings for this word, for this World card. She has quite a degree of sexual freedom. She's very scantily clothed. So again, this can mean sexual coupling, excitement in the chemistry sexual field. It can also mean fertility as well. So there's quite a few periods in the year here for guys and girls that are wanting to conceive and start a family, or even conceive and start entrepreneurial ideas. We come to the very last card for the year, and you have the Judgment card. And this card is about an epiphany, an awakening, a like, oh God, I've got it. It's like all of these months of the year earlier, you learnt a lesson and you understood it and you're ready to make the change. Big dynamic changes going on here at the cosmic level. And you're ready to take the jump, the leap of faith, and understand that something needed changing around you at a quite major degree as you move forward into this new year coming. For some of you, it can mean you hear it through psychic revelation, or through clairaudience, or through synchronistic events, or through dreams that were starting up here. And if you've kept that dream journal going for the whole year and you go back and read it and go, wow, look what this is telling me. You know, it's things like that that the Judgment card can mean. It can mean a change in direction about a belief system or a philosophical understanding. It can mean a realization about an entire value system in your life, your integrity values. It could be realigning yourself with something that is more truthful to your soul. And that's why you may have had a bit of this anxiety and tension and contemplation earlier in the year. It can also reference things like hearing issues, because there's this flaming, energy at the top of the head, tingling at the top of the crown, a little bit of vision problems or headaches in the head and neck area as well. So something along those lines might be evident at that time of the year, and you might think, oh, I need to get this sorted, or I wonder what it is. So sometimes it is tied into or connected with our spiritual journeys anyhow. So let's finish with the reading, and we move into January of 2020, and we have the Seven of Wands. It's a bit of an aggressive looking card. He seems a bit disconcerted with all these proddings beneath him, but he's holding his own, and he is actually with his own creative craft, and he's above all the others. So it's as if he's been fighting to be heard, or fighting with an idea or a concept, again often very creative, and he's not going to give up. So this card in real terms is the card of determination and knowing that success is on its way. So even though it's a little bit of a feisty one to start the next year with, it's one of determination and success, and knowing that you have something that's worth fighting for. And quite often this is in the creative concept or the career concept, or something you're very passionate about. So it's telling you, march into 2020 with all of the things that you have learned, with the ideas that you have on board, and fight for them and stand up and be heard. So it's, going into 2020 with gusto and energy. Boom. So thanks for listening, guys. I trust you have really enjoyed this. I would come back during the year to just go over it again and check out what cards are coming for when. Also check your moon and rising signs, because there's bound to be some really pertinent, excellent information in those as well. Please sub the channel and click the little notification button, and that way you'll see the uploads when they come, and then you can click on them and listen to all the latest information. So I wish you really well for the upcoming year. Take care, everyone. Namaste.